You're about to make a decision. Perhaps it's trivial, what to have for lunch. Perhaps it's life-changing, whether to accept that job offer in a new city. Here's the thing. Whatever you decide, you don't control the outcomes of that choice. You can hope it works out the way you want. You can even fully expect it, looking back on all the similar experiences you've had before. But the one thing you can't do is guarantee how it plays out. Any number of things could come along, completely changing what you imagine should happen next. This lack of control can trigger all kinds of anxiety, but it doesn't need to. The ancient Stoics understood and accepted the hard limit of our control. They worked out the only thing up to us is the intention behind the choice we make. Everything else, they knew, is beyond our power. Accept this truth for yourself, and you too will move through the world disconcerted by nothing and happy. Reject it, and you'll spend your life entering contests you can never win. Hey there, it's me, Core, and you're listening to Exercising Self-Control, from fitness to flourishing. Over the last 3 days, we've been going deep, exploring the theory behind the Stoic dichotomy of control. Today, we'll get practical. If you missed the build-up, listen to The Foundation of Stoic Strength Training, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3 in order first. Each builds on the one before and sets up today's episode. All right, let's look at some real-world examples of the dichotomy in the three big aspects of life: health, relationships, and work. In health, you are exercising daily. You cannot control whether exercise prevents disease, whether your genetics cooperate, or whether accidents happen. You can control how you choose to move your body, your decision to eat nutritious foods, and your commitment to getting at least 7 hours of sleep every day. In relationships, you're in a relationship with someone you love. You cannot control whether someone loves you back, stays faithful, or meets your emotional needs. You can control how you choose to express your love, to communicate honestly, and to respect both their autonomy and your own. In work, you're preparing for a crucial presentation. You cannot control whether you get promoted, whether the technology works, or how your audience responds. You can control your preparation, your intention to communicate clearly, and your choice to remain composed regardless of what happens. The key in any circumstance is taking full advantage of the moment of choice. There are 3 conditions you must fulfill to best exercise virtuous self-control. I detail these conditions in Bridging the Gap Between Intention and Action, Part 1 of 2 and Part 2 of 2. Check out those episodes to get clear on that if you haven't already. Here's the quick summary. With intention statements, Part 1, you'll be better prepared to recognize the moment of choice when it occurs, and you'll know the standard of excellence you want from yourself. With the discipline, Part 2, you train yourself to consistently choose to live up to that standard until it becomes a habit and part of your self-identity. When you catch yourself grasping for control of the externals, pay attention. The moment you notice frustration, anxiety, or anger arising, pause and ask, what am I imagining will happen because of this event or this circumstance? The reason you're feeling any of these emotions is because you're imagining a consequence you don't want. When it's become clear what you're imagining, go through this short process for each answer. 1. Remind yourself the only thing up to you is your intention. 2. Ask yourself, what can I choose to do to deal with this possible consequence that's absolutely up to me? And 3, if your answer is consistent with your values and your goals, do that. If there's nothing you can do physically, there's no action you can take or person you can ask for help, you can still direct your attention to change the experience that you're having. Remember what William James said about attention. The faculty of voluntarily bringing back a wandering attention over and over again is the very root of judgment, character, and will. It's not always easy, but with practice, you can train yourself to let go of anxiety-producing thinking. It is well worth the effort. Here's what most people miss. Accepting our limitations doesn't make us weak. It makes us invincible. When you stop wasting energy trying to control externals, all your power consolidates where it belongs, in your capacity to choose. The Stoics used the example of the archer, which embodies this perfectly. An archer can choose their stance, the pattern that they want to use for their breathing, when to release the arrow. Once the arrow flies, their job is done. Whether the wind intervenes, the target moves, the arrow finds its mark, none of this diminishes the quality of their preparation. Their success lies not in hitting the target, but in executing their chosen action with excellence. The foundation has been set. We began with an uncomfortable truth. You don't even control your next breath. By now, this shouldn't frighten you. It should free you. The dichotomy of control isn't about becoming passive or giving up on goals. It's about becoming invincible by fighting only the battles you can win. That is, the ones within your own power of choice. Every external thing you've ever worried about controlling was never yours to command. Every moment of frustration came from expecting a power from yourself you never possessed. Remember the proeresis, your faculty of choice. That is yours absolutely. No force in the universe can take away your power of choice. In this single power lies all the strength you need to live a good life. The ancient Stoics built a philosophy on this foundation because everything else is a result of accepting this truth. They suggest the only good is virtue. Everything else, all the externals, can only be preferred. Health isn't good. Illness isn't evil. What makes them either of those is what you choose to do with them. Master the dichotomy of control and you are ready for whatever life brings. Ignore it and you'll exhaust yourself, shadowboxing with externals until your last breath, which, as we've established, you don't control either. Tomorrow, you'll wake up in a world of uncounted externals beyond your power to command. But you'll also wake up with perfect sovereignty over your choices. That's not a limitation. That's reality. It's also the beginning of true strength. Now that you have the foundation, get to work. Build the life you'd live if you had the choice. And the choice is yours. Make it a good one. That's it for today. Catch you next time.